Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and today we're looking at Divide by Sheep. So recently I've been playing some Sudoku games, which are sort of like math games, and I played a game called Death's Hangover, which has the skull-faced death carrying a scythe. So let's play a game that combines those two elements, sorta. This is a 2015 game created by these four people and then published by Tiny Build. And yeah, it definitely has that mobile game feel. What gets highlighted interestingly here is that like Twitter is now X, and I don't think Facebook uses this F logo anymore either. This is your entire menu, and you just go to the left or right, which definitely feels mobile, but honestly it also highlights probably the direction even console and PC games should go. It is really weird that you have still to this day press a button to start, then you go to a completely different screen as a concept, because when you go to different screens there's just like you gotta look somewhere for a back button, where here the X button is right there and the left and right arrows here. As far as settings go, it's just music and volume plus a parental control that really isn't that much of a control. You can turn it on or off, and there seems to be no password or anything. I assume, since this is a game where we're going to fling sheep through lasers, this mode here would just have the sheep not be gorily depicted, and this mode will just show them actually getting split in half. And that's pretty much all we need to know. There is some gatekeeping to the other worlds, and there is a decent amount of puzzles here, and then that's just going to be it. So let's power through this as a series very quickly. I imagine the first level is just going to be a tutorial. Here you have death and what looks like Cthulhu, and we have pigs and wolves and sheep. And so death has an idea. He's going to ride Cthulhu and flood the world to get more souls of sheep and wolves and pigs as his friends. So Death is out to potentially kill as many people as possible. Although this first level seems like we're actually saving the sheep by simply flinging them that direction, then flinging them this way to be saved. And there aren't any lasers yet. The side arts of some weird looking plants. And I would assume there's a limitation on just a max platform here. So we see that there are 6 sheep here, there are 6 spaces. So if I flung 7, or if I flung 1 extra onto this, it would probably fall into the water and drown. So there's our 3 stars. We were supposed to have saved the first group, the second group, and the next group, third group. So now I imagine we have 4 that want to be saved in the first group, which I don't know how you would do that. Like, you have a split here, and I don't think you have individual control. So what I would assume you do is this, and then this, and this is either a case of doing this or leaving it alone. I guess there's 4 here, so let's start with that. That's 4. Then it wants 2. And so I think the big lesson here is we're going to take 5 and then reduce it down to 4. Yep, 1 fell into the water. And we got an achievement for that happening. So, minor addition and minor subtraction. I'm not sure if we're ever actually going to do actual division or multiplication, and I assume for a video game, if they were going to do that level of multiplication and addition, it would be fairly simple stuff. They wouldn't ask for really complicated multiplication and division. And I assume that the floaters there would not wait if I sent like only 3 here. Or maybe they will. Like, unless this is a case where we do this. Actually, he did wait. Interesting. So we learned something new from that. So the wraths will wait for you. Now, so far, I question if there's really been any actual math that's played any role to this. This is really just more shifting items around, organizing. Maybe organizing is kind of the wrong word, even. It might be more just object management. And here we have several pictures that I'm not sure I really know what this means. It seems like there's a lot of sheep just playing cards, and then all the cards in the sheep got knocked into the water, and then the sheep start playing cards again. So I guess the question to ask is, are we really supposed to do something like this to get it down to 3, to do this, to do that? Probably. Imagine it would accept more, but you wouldn't get to the correct reward if you did that. But you also know it leaves once it has the right number. So the easiest thing here to get 2 is just to drown the rest of these. We still haven't gotten to the lasers where, so the sheep drowning is not particularly that gory. And we're getting another little image. This does highlight how you can get away with very little in a game like this, as long as you give a decent number of levels. So the main hope is that we'll just have challenging levels later on, at least, and that this won't be a case of hundreds of levels that are just super simplistic. And that's unlikely to be the case. Otherwise, you just have a decent background. This is supposed to be like a Romeo and Juliet image reference. So we want 6. How do we get 6? If we did 6, if we did all 8 here, then 2 would probably just drown, or it would just go over and not count. So we gotta learn this lesson, so let's make a mistake. And that failed. So then we'll just reset the whole level. Nice animation there, but perhaps a little slow. So then we need to look and see if we can do this, and we know now that that is actually a barrier. So I think the move here is probably to do something like that. Lose 1 here, do that, lose a couple. Now we're down to 6. Come over here, get the number right, We're still short by 1. We have 4 here now, and we want 3. And the only way we could get to 3 is if we did that. So I think the move is a bit trickier here. Move those 3 that way. Move this direction. Now make room for that to move that direction. And then, yeah, this is just sorting. This is not math. In the same way that doing Sudoku, for the most part, is actually just sorting and following rules and not actual math. Although some variants of Sudoku, like killer Sudoku, actually do require math. Okay. So the move here is we're going to want 2 at some point, and we're going to want 6. So if I fling like these 2 here, and then fling this here, and then fling this here, that should be 6 to start with. Then we do this for 3. Okay. The question then, though, will come down to how do we get down to 2? There's no way. We need to do this and have that 2 ready to go. Bring this way. And then it kind of doesn't matter which direction you go. You can do that to get to your 6 to start with. Then you can fling these to get to 3. And then there's our 2. This is definitely a game where if we did run into any problems, we could just move ahead and that would work perfectly fine. I definitely don't think you should stick to one level just to get 3 stars, because there's a decent chance in games like this that by the time you get to the end you just won't really care about collecting all 3 stars in every level. It might be that the last levels are just really difficult. Now we're going to be introduced to what I'm going to call wolves. They could be rats. Well, I would assume wolves make more sense. So, wolves, I assume, just eat sheep that are extra. So then this should leave me with, well, I guess they are probably just negative numbers. Each sheep is a positive 1. Each wolf is probably a negative 1. So doing this divides it down to 2 to get to that. Now we have satisfied the wolves. Which will go over here and satisfy a couple more wolves. And that, I think they are just fed for the remainder of the level. Yeah. So we now know how that works. So we are doing a little bit of math now. We want to get to a 5, but at some point we want to get to a 3. So the question is going to come down to how can we accommodate that? Like, it seems to me like this would be the way you would do it. You would do this, then you would fling this, and that eats 2. Which I was thinking would just eat 1, so that actually accomplished nothing. And then you fling this, and that gives you 1. And then you fling this, and you just lose a whole bunch of more. Let's try that again. You might as well try it a couple times. Okay. Yeah, weirdly, the wolves kind of don't do anything. Like, even though they eat the wolf and they look satisfied, they eat a sheep and look satisfied, they still act exactly the same. I guess there's a shark in the water. So if I like throw all of these, they'll eat all those. And then I say, if I throw like this, then throw that, it's still gonna just miss. And that. What? What did I do wrong there? I got the number wrong? Oh yeah, only need 1, not 2. So I've already made a math mistake. Yeah, that's pretty dumb. This definitely feels like a game that is going to revel in the idea of losing more sheep than getting them to safety. And it feels like this first group of puzzles are all going to be about saving the sheep. Whereas I think eventually it is going to take a twist and you're going to try and kill a very specific number of sheep instead of just always sending them in this direction. Now in this case, that gets you to 4, so it would make very little sense to do anything else. I guess the question then becomes, how can we work with that a little bit better? I guess you just do this to get to 4. But you needed to be at 3. So then that gets you to 3. That doesn't give you 2. Yeah, I just couldn't imagine that there's any other move you can do other than jumping this way to make that 4, then jumping this way, then jumping that way. That definitely feels like the first step. Then the question is, how do I get a 3 and then have a 2 left? I guess what you could do is something like this. And then that would be 4. there are 5 spaces here. We could throw that here. Can we diagonally jump? No. We can only go in straight lines, or at this isometric view. What would be a straight line on an isometric scale? So then you can throw this back this way. Yes. But then that would just bring you here, and you would just lose those guys. I'm gonna give this one more try, then I'm gonna move on. If it were a case where perhaps you lose a different amount, you do this, and then you shoot it that way, and then you shoot it that way. Then what? We're now down to 4. There's 5 on the field. Is there a way to split this up? Not as far as I can see. What if we were to go this direction first and lose 1 that way? If I flung that, it would just die. I just want to make sure I'm not missing a concept here. There's been no instructions as far as any other buttons. Right click, middle mouse button, mouse wheel is not doing anything. There's like nothing here you can do. Flinging empty groups doesn't do anything. Flinging here doesn't do anything. If we did this, then I guess maybe the move might be to make it clear. Ah, yes, that's the solution. Yeah. Took me too long to see that. Yeah, that took way too long to figure that out. So it is just a lot of pathfinding. Okay. So that's 10 levels to start with in this first episode, with 3 stars altogether in the green world. There are 90 stars in this world completely, 90 stars in this world completely, 90 in this world, 90 in this world, 90 in this world, which I think that probably means that we are somewhere around like how many episodes would that be? 3 for each world, 4 or 5 worlds, 20 episodes in total if we keep them short and sweet. Now we have a wolf here instead of a sheep on the front of the screen. So yeah, it does feel like this game is going to be just short and sweet, so I shall keep the endings and beginnings as short and sweet too. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.